Good morning, everybody. Well, I did it to myself. Yesterday, I did not make any trades, so I went on my Twitter and I posted my calendar for the month of February, which had 0 red days in it. And I said, hey, it's an all green day month. So you know what happened on my first trading day here in March. You know it's a red day. Tesla got me a little bit today. Didn't quite get the trade wrong, but got the trade red. So we're going to break that down, see what happened in today's video with these trades. Let's get to it. Let's trade. All right, so like I said, first trade today was here on Tesla, and it was making a pretty nice move off the bottom right up into the high of the day. So that's where I got started with 10 shares. We'll just call it 876. Just looking for possibly a little double top action, but then it immediately popped real strong through that. So I'm watching it for a move through 879 on that move towards 880 to add in another 10 shares here. So I'm watching the bid, I'm watching the ask. There's the ask right at 879, looking for a pop through 879. There it is. I go ahead and add 10 more shares in there and now have 20 shares at an average of 877.45, and I'm really feeling pretty good about the trade at this point. It's about 20 points or so up off of where it just was minutes prior. So unfortunately several minutes goes by and it just wants to keep going, and I could have cut it here short per the trade, but I was only in 20 shares, so I had plenty of room on this one to keep adding in more. It was still pretty overextended, so I thought, okay, if we get another nice move here up towards the 885s up through 884, I'll try to add another 20 shares in and see if we can get this thing back down under 880 on a move. So it's popping up here. It's up towards 884. I'm looking for that move through 884. There it is. I go ahead and get short 20 more shares. So now I have 40 shares and an average of 880.74 on Tesla. Now, unfortunately, several more minutes goes by, and it's just kind of doing the same exact thing it did a few minutes ago, so I'm possibly starting to stair step here. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, if this thing comes back down to 880, I'll just look to take 30 of the shares off, not really at a profit there, just kind of reducing this one down, and then if the 10 shares at a better price want to go and make me some money, have at it. So I put the 30 shares out there at 880.01 just to front run 880 a little bit in case it doesn't actually get that fill right there on the whole number. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, I got to come up with a stop here at some point. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, 888 is really where the high was, but 890 is a much better whole number. It's on that tens rather than on a weird in between there on the 888s, but it runs right into 888 here again and can't break through. So initially I'm like, okay, it's still kind of early into the secondary move, so I think I'll go ahead and put a stop out with the 40 shares at 890. If it breaks 890, can't be in this trade anymore. So I put that stop out there for all 40 shares at 890. Still looking for a move back down here towards 880 to take 30 shares off, and then much lower, 875-ish was the goal for the final 10 shares, which would have been with that nice average. So that would have been about 10 points or so on those 10 shares. But you can see it wicked down. It almost got me on those 30 shares. It just missed me. And I changed my mind. I said, okay, it's been several more minutes. It came down a little bit. So now I'm going to move my stop down right to 888. Just thinking if we pop through there, maybe we'll see another multi-point move like it did before. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stop, change it down to 888 on all 40 shares here on Tesla. And the reason I showed you all that is because it is going to come up and stop me here at 888 on Tesla for minus about 290 on this trade, which is fine in the grand scheme of things. 298 nothing, but Tesla went up just under 890 before it crashed all the way back down into the 850s. So that's frustrating. That's just kind of how it goes in the market sometimes. It wasn't wrong to change the stop to 888 there. But then EPAM popped up a little bit later in the day here, right around noon. And I'm watching it here. It's in the 218s. It's popping off a 210. I'm like, all right, if we get a nice pop through 220, might try this one with smaller size as well. Looking at a 50 share starter here on EPAM if we get a nice pop through 220. So I'm watching it here. It's kind of in the 218s for a little bit. And it's got the potential for some bigger moves. but it's already moved quite a bit. So here's a nice big fast candle there. That's what I'm looking for. It does get up through 220, but it's not enough for me there because it's only up by about 50 cents, and the bid is not even up through there, as you can see at this point in time. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer, see if it pushes up higher through 221, see what it can do. And then all of a sudden, you can see the ask pops up to 223 there. So I go ahead and put my shares out there, 50 shares at 223, seeing if I can get a fill there. And I do get the fill there at 223. Popped up slightly to 224. I don't know what it actually filled on above that, but then starts coming down pretty much right away. And I'm like, okay, if we get a move down through the 220s, this will be looking pretty decent for a nice quick win here. Make back some of my money that I lost on Tesla. So I go ahead and get ready with an order in my order screen at 220 for a limit buy. I'm not going to put an order at 220 on this one just in case it gets that nice fast move in the opposite direction like it did to the upside. But gonna take at least 220. So I'm watching it come down here. You can see the bids at 220.27. Watching to see if we can get that down below 220, and we'll go ahead and click the button if we see a nice move through 220. So there it shoots down to 219. The ask only came down a little bit though, so I got to fill at 219.87 for plus 156. So made back about half the loss there on EPAM. So that's going to do it for me today. I did get one more trade while I was editing. It was for plus $10, so I'm down 123 on the day. Didn't feel the need to go back and just show you a chart of that when it was pretty much a no mover, and I just took it off as a cut break even basically. So, you know, that's what happens sometimes. You have the all green month, you're due for a red day. I'll take it. I'll move on. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Check out my other YouTube channel, Whiskey Tears. Just posted a new whiskey bottle review there today. Let me know how you like it. I'll see you later.